Let's have a discussion. People have questions. They would like answers. Let's talk about the issues. Confront the things that may be difficult to address. The Black narrative. Greetings, brothers and sisters. My name is Steve Muhammad, and this is The Black Narrative on the NNV News Network. And today we are going to be talking about some science, some technology, and mental health. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And so a lot of us, we are struggling with mental health issues. And even for those of us who don't believe that we have any mental health issues, if you watch this program, you will begin to understand that every Black man and woman who is raised here in the hills of North America, we have mental health issues. So today we have with us to discuss these mental health issues and the science of Dianetics is Sister Nayyirah Muhammad, who is Sister Emeritus, student MGT and GCC captain in St. Petersburg, Florida, for the Nation of Islam's Mosque number 95. She is a gold seal, a Dianetic auditor, and she is the founder of Repair the Black Family Foundation. I would like to greet you, sister, in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you so much for having me here on this beautiful platform. I'm so excited to be able to offer whatever God would allow to come through me. So thank you so much, as this is this is essential needs right now to talk about mental health in the Black community. So thank you.
Absolutely. And if you could first go ahead and science up that beautiful name for us, Sister Nayyirah.
Absolutely, yes, sir. It means shining, luminous, bright, and brilliant. Praise be to Allah. And Muhammad, of course, we know means one worthy of praise. Praise much.
Yes, ma'am. And so we want to get right on into this. And we want the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that the prerequisite knowledge is the knowledge of God, the knowledge of self, the knowledge of the time and what must be done, and the knowledge of the true religion. But he said that the complementary knowledge, he said, is found in Dianetics. Can you break that down for us? What did he mean by that?
Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much. Not recently, it's recent to me, because anytime we're in the presence of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, it could be just like yesterday to us, right? However, a couple of years ago, 2018, I met with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He actually said it's a supplement to that which we already have. And it's a supplement because, when you look at a supplement, it literally handles the deficiencies, right, that one may be going through physically. So I see this as a spiritual supplement that many of us are deficient in, that which we've already been given with our connection with God. So this technology, from my experience and my study, it helps us to go in and be able to fill in the gaps of that which we need to get closer to God himself.
And I know that we're going to go deeper into it, but can you just give us a basic understanding of what is Dianetics? But before you answer that, let's go ahead and really just get like the foolishness out of the way. And that is, the mumblings and rumors and things like that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is following Dianetics, or follow, I guess, an adherent or a follower of Scientology.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, yes, absolutely. Well, let me just say this. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is a trusted friend. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has never led any one of us wrong, right? This man has sight beyond sight beyond sight, that he can see further than any one of us, right? Because he is the anointed and appointed man of God. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, in my experience, have found the technology that we know, as he stated, and I can truly say that I have found what he found based upon what he told me, that this technology does belong to us. It's ancient. Mr. L. Ron Hubbard, he will tell you, he has said himself, Dianetics don't belong to him. It belongs to 50,000 years of thinking men, okay? Which means we know 50,000 years ago, there was only the original man on the planet. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gave us a technology to help us escape the mental death plot that this enemy had for us, and still has for us, and is still planning in the future. So it's a tool, it's a technology that will help us in present time to deal with the ills of our minds. So to say that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is a follower of Dianetics or a follower of the Church of Scientology, I beg to differ. He's a man of God who carries knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So he gave us a tool to help us as a people to escape the mental ills of our own minds and to escape the enemy's plot for our minds.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And so let's get right on into it. Tell us about the science or the technology of auditing. What is auditing?
Okay, well, let's look at Dianetics. Dianetics is the modern science to mental health. Okay, Dia means soul or mind. Noes means spirit. I'm sorry, Dia means mind. Noes means spirit. So it's what the mind is doing to the body. So it's the modern science to mental health. It handles all fears, all upsets, all traumas. It handles that. It helps one to get, Dia means through. Sorry about that. Okay. Noes means mind. So it helps one to get to the hidden source, not just the known, but the hidden source of fear, upset, pain, to be able to look at it, discover it, and then totally eradicate it from one's mind to be able to function in present time without the emotional charge that keeps us from being our own beautiful selves.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Go right ahead.
Yes, sir. Did you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I did. Uh-huh.
Okay,
And
yeah.
you.
So
Yeah.
that's what Dianetics is. It's the modern science to mental health. It is that which will help us to get rid of the impediments that we have that's keeping us from being full and complete functioning children of God.
Right. And if you want, go right on into the auditing question. What is that technology about?
Thank you. So an auditor is a therapist, one who listens and computes. Okay. So as an auditor, as a therapist, one would bring in their client, or what we say in Dianetics, PC, to have that person to talk about their ills, to talk about their traumas, to talk about their fears, and listen to them, right? We don't evaluate. That's the difference between us and other therapists. We listen to the person and help them to solve their own problems versus us solving the problem for them. We guide them so that they can actually look and be able to solve their own problems. And the key thing that I want to say here is the beautiful thing about this technology is it helps you to find the hidden fears, the hidden traumas. Oftentimes, when we know things in our conscious mind, we can talk about it, and that's good. But there's things in your mind that you don't know. And this science, through auditing, will help you to get to the roots of your problems, the roots of your fears, the roots of your grief, and be able to totally eradicate it. you know? So that's the beauty of auditing.
Now, auditing is different from going to a therapist, right? So when you go to a therapist, you know the old, if those who have never been, maybe seen it in the movies or whatever, right? You would just go into an office, you would see a couch, you would sit down on the couch, and you would talk to a person about your problems. How is auditing different than therapy?
Yes, sir, absolutely. And you said it right. You would go and you would talk to a person, and at the end of that talking to the person, they are going to tell you what's wrong with you. In auditing, we don't tell people what's wrong with them. We guide the person to see what is hindering them, and that person have cognitions or realizations. Oh, this is connected to the so and so, and then that person now gains more ability to be able to function in present time. So the difference between auditing and the other different types of therapies is that there's no evaluations. There's no one saying this is what's wrong with you, because
Mhm.
then, you know, at that point the person is not using their own mind. Auditing helps you to use your own mind, and no one's telling you what to do. You're solving your own problems, which is power.
Right. And so what are you trying, what are you so for instance, one of the things that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was saying is that, you know, in a spiritual sense, auditing, or you would look at maybe the engrams as a demon, you would look at auditing as an exorcism. Can you break down what does he mean by that?
Okay, well, let's look at it from this way. First and foremost, Dianetics wakes people up. We have been put, and he says that in the book, Dianetics, The Modern Science of Mental Health, on page 247. Dianetics wakes people up. We have been put to sleep here in the wilderness of North America for over 400 years. Okay. And in that process of being put to sleep, there were certain command phrases that happened to us as slaves, right? That kept us from or should I say, functioning in a righteous manner. So when the minister talked about demons, engrams are related to it as demons. It has force and power. That's in the book, right? So Jesus was able to cast demons out of the people. The apostles, eventually, they became the disciples, which became apostles, was able to do what? Cast demons out. That's an exorcism. When you are able to literally take a person and cast out their demons. Well, during this process of auditing, by the questions that's being asked, the demons are literally being casted out of the person. You are eradicating. Listen to the language. Eradicating, like you're getting rid of those things that's in your mind that you have no control over. Demons have force and power. It will cause you to act other than your own self. And as we know, as a people, we have been made other than our own self. We have that made devil is the mind of our open enemies. So what we're doing through this process is we're getting rid of that mind quicker. It's a tool to, like the minister called us, spiritual physicians. So you are actually performing with this technology, if you understand it correctly and listen to what I'm saying this to us as a people, and don't misconstrue what I'm saying. We're performing spiritual surgery. We're literally helping the person to go in and find those demons and to get rid of them and no longer have force and power. I am a product of the technology. So I'm not just saying what somebody has said. I'm not just saying what I have read in a book. I've been through the process. I've been
So
able to get rid of the demons of being a victim from being raped. I've been and not able to function. I've been able to get through loss and grief when my father died in prison and I was standing right there by his side and I was, you know, in that grief stage for years because I couldn't understand. There are so many different things, and this is just my chapters of my book, okay? But all of us have different chapters. All of us have different things that has happened in our story that even with our ability to pray to the God, even with us having the true knowledge of ourselves, even with us having the knowledge of the devil, even with us having the knowing the time and what must be done. True story. Many of us is still in a position that we're functioning other than our own selves, and we don't know why. This helps you to get to the why, you know? So all praise is due to Allah. I get passionate because I know the benefits of what we need for us in this day and time with modern science.
Right. And believe me, sister, we want you to we want you to be passionate. We want you to be passionate. You know what I mean? Because we are at war. You know what I mean? And we need passionate people who really feel what they're fighting for. So, hey, no, don't use any excuse for your passion, for real.
We are fighting for freedom, justice, and equality. The freedom of yourself, justice with yourself, equality with yourself. See, we're dealing with modern technology. It was technology. Look, this book right here, I dissected it. Okay? It's a science for me because it was technology, Willie Lynch technology that enslaved us to the degree that we have been enslaved here in the wilderness of North America. And now we are perpetuating those poison and rusty locks. You know, our Savior came and said that there was going to be modern equipment that was going to help us. 17 million keys to unlock us. You see? Well, I am here to say, by being a product, that this technology, the tools, is a part of one of the, or should I say, one of the 17 million keys, because I have been unlocked to the degree that I have been.
Right, absolutely. So now you bring up a good point because you talk about our history, our 400 plus year history of being under the satanic system of white supremacy, right? And it putting engrams in us. But now you also talk about things that happen to us as we grow up. Some of us going through very traumatic experiences, not only as you mentioned, rape is one, even childhood bullying. There are a number of experiences that we go through as a people, as Black people, as all people, in all actuality, as all people, that cause these demons, as we are saying, engrams, to be formed in us. Can you talk about some of the ways that these engrams are, how does that work? How do these things embed themselves in us?
Absolutely. Well, let's just look at the time period that we're in. Okay. We are looking at in 2020, COVID-19, coronavirus. We're looking at re-stimulation of sickness and death. Since we've been here in this country, we've seen sickness and death somewhere at a cellular level. This time period is reminding us of something that our ancestors have been through. So we are being re-stimulated even at a spiritual level of being reminded of sickness and death. So some of us can fall victim to the circumstances of the coronavirus, COVID-19, just from our mindset of being re-stimulated with sickness and death. It's a pestilence from God. This is not the first time that pestilence have been here on this planet. Our ancestors had to face different pestilence. Well, if we have access to information, and we do, at a cellular level, then at a cellular level, we can be re-stimulated. You can learn this through Dianetics, but you can learn it through epigenetics. Your cells carry behaviors. And depending on the atmosphere, the environment, the different things that you go it can re-stimulate, it can key you in, and then now these, you know, and I'm going to use the terms that we're familiar with, these demon circuits, these different aberrations, which is a departure from rational thought. It's a departure from reason, that not even our own thoughts are being carried out when we see these things. All thoughts is not your thoughts. You're right. We are battle. We're at war. There's a war in Armageddon. It's a war in your own mind. This is why it says we're not warring against flesh and blood, but spiritual wickedness, rulers in dark places, spiritual wickedness in high places, dark rulers. Okay, so what we're seeing in the atmosphere, in the environment, plays an effect on our spiritual and mental and emotional states of beingness. And we have an opportunity, though. These are the problems. Dianetics is one of the solutions to help us to get to a point where we can now be able to do the work of God. There's a world that's fallen and there's a world that's coming up. But as this kingdom is being built, as the hereafter is being established, the question is, what condition of mind would God's people be in to help us to sustain and maintain and build at the same time as the world is going down?
Right, right.
So mental health in the Black community is very important. But what type of mental health? Because you don't want to subject your mind to the same enemy that broke you.
That's right. And so, as you're bringing out a lot of good points. And so when we think about, you know, The Exorcist and these type of demonic movies, right? We see these demons, right? We see these demons enter the individual's body and control their actions. So these engrams that we're talking about that we have to be cleared of, right? How, take us through how these engrams control our actions.
Yes, sir. So when I look at generational trauma, generational brokenness, okay, you can dramatize. Let's just start with the family. I'll give you personal examples. I grew up in a household where domestic violence was very real in the household. Okay. And I love my father. May Allah be pleased with him. He's still my superhero. Okay. So as I speak of him, I'm speaking of a condition. I'm not speaking of him as an individual, because that's my daddy and I love him. But he had situations. Okay. And in those situations, he was an alcoholic. He was on crack. He took prescription medication because he was dealing with pain from the age of 13. He had 47 surgeries in his lifetime. Okay, so he was trying to find ways to cope with pain. But in that process, he beat my mother. Okay, so excuse my expression. He beat the hell out of my mother in front of us as children. Well, out of that, my way of learning how to deal with broken communication, frustration, coping with life was to be violent. I learned through this process where I thought it was me, okay, in my marriages, where I would get upset and I would throw things and hit the wall. Well, that's what my daddy used to do. He would break up all the dishes. So when I would get upset, I would break up all the dishes. Okay? So we duplicate that which we see, experience. Now, imagine what I was going through as a child when my mother was being beat and we had to get out the house 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, waking up out of our sleep, half consciousness. These demon circuits was being formed because it happens with pain and unconsciousness. Okay? It happens with threats of loss. So now these are mindsets are being developed. And at any given time, these mindsets can produce itself and you are unaware. So you're thinking you're doing something because it's just you, but it's developed mindsets that you are dramatizing. When a situation presents itself, known or unknown, a smell can re-stimulate you in that mindset come up, and now you're doing something that's not of you. So through this process, I was able to get rid of all of these adopted mindsets. And now I can truly say that I'm functioning as my true self. And if many of us, while I'm speaking right now, you could think about different things that you do in your life that maybe it reminds you of your grandmother. Maybe it reminds you of your grandfather. Maybe it reminds you of the next door neighbor. And during the midst of trying times, you may do something and it's like, whoa, that's what my grandma used to do. Where there it is. That's a mindset that has been produced. Well, guess what? That can be, I'm just naming 400 years. We can go back further because the mind is so powerful. But you got 400 years of mindsets of the enemy's mind that we dramatize on one another still right now in 2020.
Right. And we can't really emphasize enough that this is a technology that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan found that will help us to activate the potential from learning the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This tool will help unleash, right, that potential that we learn from the teachings. So let me ask you the next question, and that is, can you tell us about, well, first of all, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing, your personal experience, right? Because in truth, your experience is my experience, and it's the experience of most of the Black brothers and sisters who are watching, this interview, this discussion that we're having. Also, well, to go into the next question, many people think that they, because of maybe fame or maybe fortune or maybe education or something like that, that they can escape, that they can overcome these demons. What would you say about that?
I would say this: with the power of prayer and our true communication with God, there's nothing in our lives that we cannot overcome. There's nothing. The beautiful thing of this technology, no matter who you are, you can always go to the next level. You can always, what I say, level up. And there's things that happen to you in your mother's womb that you are unaware of. So for me, it's like a preventive measure. I would rather go in and discover myself, the unknown, and handle those things, the insufficiencies, the impediments, the things that, that I know about, but what I really did not know about myself. Get rid of those things. Purge. See, this is like a purging. That now when things come up into my life, I have more ability to face them. My confront level is high enough that I can face things, look at it, and willing to experience life. So when we become celebrities and when we become, these different functions in life, no matter where it is, a lot of us can't face reality. So we turn to food, we turn to drugs, we turn to sex, we turn to slack talk and gossip, we turn to distrust, mistrust. We turn to all of these different things because we're not able to face our true selves. So with this technology, what I'm saying is it's a tool, it's an opportunity to help you and I level up quicker and to find, listen to what I'm saying, the hidden sources. There are things about you that you do not know about. And that is keeping you and I from being our true selves. See, once you know something, then that's half the battle. Now, as a
Yes.
soldier on the battlefield, when I arrive to the scene of somebody else's mind, the scene of an incident, I am there. I'm not suffering in my own situations. Because even with my trials and tribulations of today, after being clear, I still have the ability to separate the here and now and be present for my brothers and sisters while I put my pain or my trials on hold. And I'm not saying going into agreement with, oh yeah, we both going through this and now you're not being helped and I'm still stuck in my same situation. So I would say this, and it's true. It's the opportunity to be free.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful right there. So, I mean, we're talking about auditing, so I'm gonna pause on some questions, and I just want to ask you to take us through this whole process of auditing, right? How do you, what is it? I mean, we talked about what we see in the movies about going and laying on the therapist's couch. Take us to that scene of us entering into the process of auditing. Who is there? Take us through that.
Absolutely. So it would be you and a person like myself that's trained with this technology. You would do an interview with your auditor, who is known as a therapist, right? It's spiritual counseling. That person will do an assessment to just get life things, find out about your medical history, just basically do what we call a case inventory. After the case inventory is done, then there is what we call a hatting process, which means we are informing you of the process that's going to take place, making sure that you understand the process of auditing, what it looks like. We go over certain codes of conduct, ethics, making sure that you understand that as an auditor, there's a code that I live by so that you can trust me and trust the process. Okay. It's called the auditor's code. That's like 26 precepts or 20. I'm not very sure on the number, but there's several codes of conducts that we go over so that you can feel comfortable in understanding that what happens in the session, it stays in the session. Okay. After we do that, and then we will basically tell you what foods, making sure when it's time for your session, making sure that you eat the proper foods, making sure you get the proper rest. Okay. So that way, when you are there in your session, now you can be fully present, and we gonna, in our language, we're gonna come in the next day, we're gonna slay demons.
That's right.
Right. And so then the next day when the person come in, then we go to work. And the thing about an auditor, right? The auditor is stronger than the person's reactive mind. Okay. The auditor understands it, especially with us, because we scriptural people. So we understand that, okay, there is an analytical mind and there is a reactive mind. And I personally understand, and I'm sure others do too, that it says it in the Bible that a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So now you get to see these two minds at work. You get to see them warring with each other. And that reactive mind is strong. It's powerful. It will fight you and the auditor. I know this. I know it from going through the process, and I know it from being on the other side of the chair. Okay? Thank Allah, I don't have a reactive mind anymore, so I'm free.
All praise
I'm able to, to be able to be here with you and think and be being rational.
Right. And so, going a little bit more into that whole process then. So now we're sitting in front of the person, and can you tell us, because we're taken back, I guess, to that point where pain was inflicted or where we went through pain, or take us through that process and take us, how do we get that release, if you will, or as the movie title says, what is that saying? we can I don't know. I forget the title. It was on the tip of my mind, and now it's gone. But how do we get that release from that auditing session?
Okay, so good. So the person is going through therapy, and the auditor is guiding the person through these memories, recalling actually, and it's not remembering, it's recalling. It's taking that person back, taking them through the process over and over and over again until the pain is either what they say, erased, totally gone, or it has been minimized. And the auditor is trained to know the difference. Okay. So we're taking that person away there until they come to the realization of what caused them to get there in the first place. And then once they get there, once they handle it and it's truly gone, they will have a cognition, and that thing will never bother them again. Now, keep in mind, one may come in to deal with one thing, but that's attached to like 15, 20 other different things or more. And we just keep taking you back and back and back until you get to the root cause of what that pain is associated with.
Here, that's in some cases, people get pretty emotional when they get to that point of release or clear. Can you talk about that, and can you talk about what does clear mean?
Yes, absolutely. So the emotional part, I just want to deal with the emotional part. Anytime you're coming to life, there's emotions attached with it. There's all sorts of emotions. Just coming into this world, coming through the mother's birth canal or whatever, by whatever way you had to get a C-section or whatever, there was a lot of emotional attachments. There was happiness, there was joy, there was crying, there was, in between life and death, there was a lot of different things. Okay. So for me, it was like a rebirth. I'm coming through the birth canal of a new life. So I experienced every emotion that you can think of, and those maybe that you can't. I went through it. However, I thank Allah for the process, because I was able to go through it, to experience this new state of awareness, this new state of existence, which is a very highly spiritual state. Okay. I no longer have a reactive mind that has force and power over my life. I don't have it. I think clearly. I am my own self. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, accept your own and be yourself. What is your own self? A righteous Muslim. I have the ability to rise above emotions into the thinking of a God. In addition to that, I'm being a God. I'm not reactive. I am responsive. I'm able to respond, hear, and obey. I'm able to be in present time. Many of us, we're functioning from 75% of our attention from the past. Things are just stuck all over the place. And that's where we pull our data, our information from the past, and we're doing things in the present according to what has happened in the past. Well, with me, I don't have all that chatter. I don't have all of the negative thoughts that's telling me, well, this happened, that. I don't have that. I can remember it, but I don't have all of the extra voices in the negative connotative things that has happened in the past, that in the present, I am fully with you. It's a spiritual state of existence. That's what it means to be clear. That's just a small, I can't really give it all to you, because it's where I operate from. I operate from a sense of energy, of pureness. This is why people feel me. A clear can bring calm to any environment just by our presence. It's true. We can actually take an environment that's chaos, and just by walking in the room, automatically, peace, be still. Well, I would say That's according to the Bible. We're functioning as little gods.
Right.
Untampered with when it comes to our ability to bring forth reason.
That's right. So now, man, that's just beautiful. I wanted to look now because I mean that aura that we have around us. I mean, I wanted to say, but that's just beautiful because we have this aura, and this aura is like you say, it's a field that is generated through our thoughts, our mind, right? And it either can bring peace or it can bring disorder. So, can you tell us about that? Because we've been talking about it a little bit, but tell us about that reactive mind, that sociopathic mentality that brings chaos and disorder everywhere it goes. And really, if you can tell us about really even the sociopathic behavior of the Caucasian, as to wherever he goes, there's harmony and there's peace. But when he enters the picture, then there's this chaos, there's this confusion, and there is disunity.
Absolutely. Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that the mind is made to think right. Okay. So if your mind think right, you do right. Okay. However, we have been made other than our own selves. Why did we run Yaqub and his made devil from the root of civilization? Right? He was the father of the devil, which taught us lies and technology. This reactive mind is the mind of a liar, the mind of a deceiver, the mind of a murderer. You see? So what you have is disorder in the reactive mind. It's not your God thinking mind. The analytical mind thinks right. It does right. It's your God consciousness. So if you are operating from that mind, you're operating from the mind of God. But when you operate from the reactive mind, you can find it on page 64 of Dianetics. He said if there was ever a devil, it would be called the reactive mind. We know that there's a devil. This is why we seek refuge in Allah from the whispering of the slinking devil that whispers from the hearts of men from within. That devil, that mind, those minds is made up of can't have, don't have, must have, will not. It's made up of all of the things that we have been programmed through this process. Distrust, envy, jealousy, is that mind is made up. That's disorder. So if you are operating from that mind, which will throw itself into existence, it tells you you're no good. It invalidates you. It invalidates others. So now, wherever you are, if you're operating from the mind of our open enemy, then that's what you create, because you are spirit, you are energy. So you generate from that mindset. So here it is, the Savior, Master Farad Muhammad, God in person, came to bring us a new idea. That's a new mind for us to operate from. But we are the ones that perpetuates this enemy's world, that we can't fully accept his mind. And when he came, he told the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I want your mind. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad told the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I want your mind. Well, what does the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan want and need from us? Our full and complete mind. And when we have that, then we will bring order to this planet. Allah is not the author of confusion. Look around us. There's confusion everywhere, starting in your own mind.
Right. And so let's see. So the psychopaths, they have to be, as you're talking about, expelled. This psychopathic way of thinking has to be expelled, as you're saying, from the completely. It has to be extinguished in order for us to be clear, right? Or in order for us to enter into the hereafter, right? Hereafter, the controlling forces of Satan are destroyed. Can you talk about how this technology from L. Ron Hubbard is also beneficial not only to us but beneficial to white people who have that type of psychopathic mentality?
Yes, sir, absolutely. This technology from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Well, let me just say this. I know that Mr. Hubbard said he wasn't interested in this world. He was interested in bringing in a new civilization. That's in his writings. Okay. So with that, as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, he wanted to get rid of that devil mentality out of his people. So this technology, and I heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say this technology will reverse the Yakub process in them. So being that it's reversing the Yakub process in the white man himself, for all white people that fall under L. Ron Hubbard, as the minister said in 2011, they should, so that they can get rid of that mindset, those minds, okay? Then for those of us, and you can't find one black person in America that have not been under that wicked and oppressive mindset, then it would get it out of us too. And that's why it's a beautiful tool for us to have. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, hey, everybody not going to become an auditor, but I don't know one black person that don't need auditing. Why? Because we've been under that mindset. And it's going to help us to function. Listen, function. Here it is. Function as the people of God that's establishing the kingdom of God.
Yes, ma'am.
That's our assignment. See, when you look at your assignment, what is your condition in the kingdom? What is your mindset in the kingdom? What is your way in the kingdom? Who are you in the kingdom? What's your role in the kingdom? And how well can you perform your duty?
Right. Absolutely. Yes. So as we begin to wrap this up, can you give us how we can contact you? And do you provide courses, or tell us a little bit about yourself, and then tell those who are watching how they can contact you or follow you on social media?
Absolutely. So definitely, I am the founder of the Repair of the Black Family. I'm the founder. My husband is the co-founder, and our sole purpose is to help repair the Black family. It's based upon the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We use the tools and technology of Mr. L. Ron Hubbard because we care about the Black minds. We care about the minds of our people. Our concept is that when you repair the Black family, you repair humanity. So it starts with us, but it's not limited to us. So we use the tools and technology of anything that would benefit us as a people, useful knowledge. So, yes, I do different courses. Matter of fact, I have a class tonight at 7:00 and people can actually tune in and learn more about the technology. You can reach us. You can reach me on social media. My Instagram is sister_Nayyirah on Instagram. On Facebook is Nayyirah Tivica Muhammad. On YouTube is Nayyirah Muhammad. And my website is repairoftheblackfamily.com. I'm willing to guide anyone through this process because the thing is that it comes across much better when it's come from us. So, those of us that have sacrificed to get this technology, because it's a sacrifice. Getting this technology is not easy, to study it, to apply it, to go through it and, go through all of the naysayers and oppositions and all of that. It's all worth it. to bear witness to the truth of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in gifting us with this tool and this technology to help us be better helpers to him, to the message, to Master Fard Muhammad, the messenger himself, and ultimately humanity. And you don't have to be, for our services, you don't just have to be a member in the Nation of Islam. We're looking to help anyone and everyone that we can, especially in this day and time.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Beautiful. Thank you so much. And we just wanted to really just touch the surface. We didn't want to go too deep with it. I think that we did a pretty good job in really, getting a good understanding of Dianetics and the whole technology. Of course, there's so much more, and hopefully we can get into that, have you on and get into more of the science or the technology that is found in the Dianetics. We definitely want to send some respect and love out to student minister Abdul Malik, formerly student minister Tony Muhammad. And so with that, in closing out, is there any thing that you would like to close us out with?
Yes, sir. I want to say thank you so much for having me on to represent this technology, represent us as a people. And I will say this, just keeping in mind that this technology is the modern science to mental health. So you won't find it like any other therapies. And take care of yourself. We're in an hour now where people are literally losing their minds. Okay. So take care of yourself. Eat well, stay hydrated. Talk, communication in this hour is very key. That's the best form of therapy. Get in communication with your family, get in communication with, just talk to people, and you will find relief by doing that. So thank you all so much. And I am your sister. I'm here for you. And whatever you would need for me to do as it relates to servicing you, then please let us know.
Thank you so much. And God bless you and your family. And assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
And so thank you, brothers and sisters, for tuning in. And hopefully this program gave you, and I gave you a pretty good understanding of what Dianetics is all about. Hopefully we can go into that just a little more in the future, but suffice it to say, these things that, are impacting our life, that keep us from moving forward, that keep us from having a solid relationship, that keep us, in a position of disadvantage. This is one way that we can overcome that. Of course, through the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as taught by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because the number one thing you need to know is the knowledge of God and the knowledge of who you are as a Black man and woman, so that you can accept your own and be yourself. So with that, I would like to leave you as I came before you with much love and respect. And may God continue to bless you and your family with the light of truth and knowledge and safety. Peace. Oh, let me say before I go, I'm sorry, brother. The technical director is probably upset at me. But before I go, I would just like to encourage you to follow the National Network View NNV News on the various social media platforms. Like us on Facebook. Every time you like us on Facebook, that helps us to just expand our reach. Drop a comment below on how you like this this conversation that we had. We're also on Instagram and on Twitter, and just like us wherever you find us. And so with that, I would like to leave you as I came before you in peace. God bless.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Your support helps to combat false media. Cash App NNV News.